In 2017, researchers in Japan showed a group of 6-month-old babies a series of images: flowers, fish, geometric shapes. The babies looked at each one with normal curiosity. Then they showed them a snake. The babies' pupils dilated instantly, their attention locked. They didn't cry, they didn't look away. They stared harder and faster than at anything else on the screen. These babies had never seen a snake in their lives. Their brains recognized it anyway. Most people explain snake fear the easy way. You learned it. A parent flinched. A movie scared you. A story told you snakes were dangerous, and your brain filed it under threat. That explanation is comfortable because it puts you in control. You were taught to fear snakes, which means the fear belongs to your experience, your culture, your life. Except that's not what the research shows. The research shows the fear was there before any of that. Before language, before memory. Before your eyes could focus on your mother's face, your brain was already scanning for a shape it had never been shown. And no one can fully explain why a 6-month-old infant treats a snake differently from every other image on a screen. Unless the answer isn't in the infant's life at all. Unless it's in a story that started 60 million years before that baby was born. Here's what we know. In 2013, a team of neuroscientists in Japan, led by Quan published a study that changed how researchers think about fear. They recorded the brain activity of macaque monkeys, primates that had been raised in captivity and had never encountered a snake. When shown images of snakes, a specific region of their brains fired in under 150 milliseconds. That is faster than conscious thought. Faster than the brain can identify a face. Faster than the visual cortex can even fully process what the eyes are seeing. The region that fired is called the pulvinar nucleus. It sits deep in the thalamus, one of the oldest parts of the primate brain. And it responded to snakes more strongly, more quickly, and more consistently than to any other stimulus the researchers tested. Not angry faces, not spiders, not predator silhouettes. Snakes. The monkeys had never seen one, and their brains treated it as the most urgent visual event in the room. That result didn't come from nowhere. 6 years earlier, an anthropologist at the University of California, Davis, named Lynne Isbell, had proposed something radical. She called it the snake detection theory. Her argument was this: for tens of millions of years, the single most consistent predator of early primates was the snake. Not big cats, not eagles. Snakes. They were everywhere. They hunted in trees where primates slept. They struck without warning. They were camouflaged in exactly the environments primates depended on, and they were lethal. A primate that could detect a snake 1 second faster than the one next to it survived. The one that didn't pass on its genes. That pressure didn't last a few thousand years. It lasted tens of millions. Generation after generation after generation, the primates that spotted the coiled shape, the elongated curve, the low-to-the-ground movement just slightly faster had a survival edge so small it would be invisible in a single lifetime. But over 60 million years, that tiny edge carved a groove into the primate brain so deep it became permanent. But here's where the story goes. Somewhere most people don't expect. Isbell didn't just argue that snakes made primates afraid. She argued that snakes made primates see. The primate visual system, sharp forward-facing eyes, high-resolution color vision, the ability to detect fine detail in cluttered environments, is extraordinary compared to most mammals. And for decades, scientists assumed it evolved for finding fruit in dense forest canopies. Isbell looked at the evidence and saw a different picture. The regions of the primate brain that respond fastest to snakes overlap with the regions responsible for detailed visual processing. The pulvinar, the structure that fires at a snake image before conscious thought even begins, is dramatically enlarged in primates compared to other mammals. And that enlargement tracks with something specific, not diet, not habitat, not social complexity. It tracks with the historical presence of venomous snakes in a primate species' evolutionary environment. Primates that evolved alongside venomous snakes have larger, more developed visual threat detection systems than primates that didn't. The snake didn't just become something we fear, it may have become the reason we see the way we do. Think about what that means. The eyes you're using right now to read this, the sharpness, the color sensitivity, the ability to pick out a thin shape against a complex background may exist in their current form because a reptile was hunting your ancestors in the dark for 60 million years. Your vision isn't just a tool for finding food, it might be an alarm system that was shaped by the thing it was built to detect. That's not a phobia, that's architecture. And the fear itself works differently from almost any other fear humans carry. In 2001, psychologists Arne Ehrman and Susan Miniker ran a series of experiments on what they called prepared learning. They tried to condition people to fear different images: snakes, spiders, flowers, mushrooms, guns, broken electrical outlets. What they found was that humans acquire fear of snakes faster than fear of anything else, including things that are objectively more dangerous in modern life. You can condition a fear of snakes in a single exposure. Removing that fear takes significantly longer than removing a conditioned fear of, say, a gun. A gun is more dangerous to you right now than any snake you're likely to meet. But your brain doesn't treat it that way. Your brain responds to snakes as though the last 10,000 years of civilization never happened, because to the part of your brain that runs this system, they didn't. The pulvinar doesn't know about cities. It doesn't know about glass windows or paved roads or that you live on the 14th floor. It runs the same scan it has run since before your species existed. It watches for a curve, a movement, a pattern in the ground that doesn't match. And when it finds one, it sends the signal before you even know you're looking. You flinch before you think. You freeze before you decide. Your body has already started reacting to a threat your conscious mind hasn't registered yet. That reflex is not yours. It belongs to every primate ancestor that survived because they noticed the shape a fraction of a second before the one who didn't. You carry something in your nervous system that is older than language, older than fire, older than every human civilization that has ever existed. It was carved into the primate brain by 60 million years of pressure from a single kind of predator. It shaped how your eyes developed, how your attention works, how your fear response is organized. And it is still running right now, underneath everything else your brain does, scanning the edge of your vision for a shape it was built to find before you were built to think. You were never taught to fear snakes. You were finished before the lesson could start. The fear is not a memory, it's a fossil, one that's still alive inside every primate brain on Earth, including yours, and it might be the oldest piece of software your body is still running. If this changed how you think about fear, subscribe. There's a lot more buried inside being human.